probably did.
Here we go. Stage 2, Division A underway. Red Reserve, Epsilon. For Red, looking to prove they are the top team in the game with a new addition of Scraps. And for Epsilon, showing they can compete throughout this next month.
No, definitely so. We look at the meta so far. It's looking like 3 subs on St. Marie Dumont rated there. He's able to find 3 with the bar. That's a great start for him. But there's Dave, that new sub. He's going to get traded out and pretty much is back and forth trading. But I mean, Red Reserve, they have early control.
Well, I know a conversation you and I had a lot is after this meta shift, and we saw it get back to, God, similar to like Dallas, right? Like a lot of 2 ARs. How long would it take till maybe we saw 3 subs back in? And talking to the Epsilon guys, they said it's already starting to happen. Like they've been running 3 subs in a lot more maps. You won't necessarily see 2 bars coming out everywhere, but I think at least in the first couple of weeks, Joe, it's going to be team dependent. Like we're going to see a lot of different comps, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely so. I think Valkyrie will stay consistent 3 subs.
Yeah.
The big questions will probably be London, Docks, and St. Marie, because that's where we saw 3 subs have a lot of impact. For the most part, Gibraltar on Enforced have been 2 AR, 2 subs. And you can see right there, Reedy, he's got infantry bar. Doesn't have a scope on. He's got that iron sight, but you can see he's got a long barrel. He's got a bayonet, or he doesn't have long barrel. He has a bayonet and extended mags.
We'll see what he's able to do with that, but nice lead here opening up the game for Red Reserve. Epsilon, though, going to be set up inside of the winery lot. Joe, though, here he comes trying to make the play. Talked about the fact that he's going to be that secondary AR. Right now, though, it's going to be PPSH in hand. Next guy in, that's a kill you got to trade.
No, definitely so. Zero loses that one out to Dave. Dave able to find 2. Rated, though, in a great position. The Epsilon guys, they have to get pushed out. There's Vortex, 7 and 4. Great start from him. But Joe responds right away with 2 of his own. He's such a good SMG player. That's what we talked about, why the medics are sort of that role switch can be a bit odd, because Joe's been that guy for Red Reserve for a very long time.
It'll be interesting to see the differences, because right now you have 2 ARs on Epsilon, although Reedy right now with that stacked bar can kind of operate like a sub in some ways, but you do see on the other end of it 3 subs out for Red Reserve. So we'll have to see throughout the course of this game maybe where players start to find an edge with a little bit of the difference there between the 2 compositions.
Definitely
it's nice though, because we don't see different comps that often, at least before what, the first 6 months of this year.
Exactly that. Epsilon, you can see they're trying to break this hill. They're going to try and push through this back stable, but Zero's here. He's able to find 1, and every single time they get a kill, you see 3 go down. Look how far Epsilon spawns out. Hockey has to try and find a kill, not able to do so. That'll slow down the Epsilon push. Such a great job by Red Reserve to get pushed out. That's why you have a guy like Scraps get picked up on this roster.
And you know, when I talked to Maddie, I talked to Scraps about, you know, him maybe not being the secondary AR when we know how strong he can be in that role. Most of his career has been an AR in hand. He said, no, they brought me on this team to be that aggressive, dominant sub, and that's what I'm going to do. He's 10 and 4 right now on a 4 streak, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he just wants to prove himself, right? Like, this is the first time that he's gotten onto a Tier 1 EU team, right? Splice and Red Reserve have really been those 2 teams in Europe, the top 2, always fighting back and forth. Scraps was never on those rosters, right? Scraps was never there. He's went on teams like Unilad, teams like Fnatic, trying to get picked up. Finally does. This is a huge opportunity for him, because if he doesn't take advantage of it, well, then the Scraps experiment doesn't work out. Maybe he never gets another shot like this.
That's very true. We'll see what he can continue to do. Leading the way on the other side is going to be Vortex. Now, we talked about Reedy maybe with some added pressure, going to be that flex player on this team. Now, he's struggling at 2 and 10. Now, we've seen him with the bar in hand. On the other side, he's been going up against 3 subs. Do you think maybe that's part of the reason you see the struggles? How do you see it?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously tough. 3 and 11. If you're going to run a secondary AR, you should be picking up kills at least. Maybe you'll be a bit slower, but the kills should come easier. But the subs of Red Reserve are just getting pushed out, where it's making it too hard. And you can see there's Scraps able to find 3 once again. 16 and 7 on a 5 spree, getting very close to some streaks himself. And this is the potential of this pickup, right? This is exactly what they wanted.
Exactly. This is what you expect the power of this team to be when you add that extra slaying prowess that you get from Scraps. And right now, close to streaks. We'll see if he's able to pick him up. The call is going to come in. He's getting hit from top and the backside. He challenges the top, able to win the gunfight. And now very, very close to full streaks. Just 75 off that fighter pilot. Just looking for the opening to tack on more, but man, he's dominating right now.
Oh, he definitely is. If you look at the rest of the scoreboard, well, he finds 2 more. Rated finds 2. You have Joe at 13 and 9. You have Rated 11 and 9. I mean, 0, 6 and 9 just hanging out. You know, they're winning by 80 points. He's just having a solid game, doing what he needs to do. Scraps, though, wants to show off a little bit, right? Yeah. His first game under Red Reserve.
Welcome back to the CWL Pro League. Welcome to Red Reserve. Scraps putting on a show, but it's Dave, the other new sub on the side of Epsilon, that's able to win that gunfight and finally slow down the monster streak. But right behind him is Rated. Rated had 6 in a row, and he got a couple of streaks to go there. So now you've got, what, 5 streaks on the side of Red. That's gonna, you already have a 100+ point advantage.
And they know where Reedy is as well. You can see they're all hunting for him. Reedy, though, he's gonna cut back towards Wine. Rated trying to find him, but Reedy, I mean, he gives up the spawns. No, the streaks were in, so now he has to try and break with his team. You can still see Hockey, he has a bar. Reedy still has one as well. And, well, that's a gunfight you have to win. You have to win those fights.
When you see 3 subs on their side, and he's still got this bar out, do you start to consider maybe pulling out a sub if you're Reedy?
I think when you're 3-11, you probably start to consider it. Just not a good game from him. I mean, the side of Hockey, the other AR, not a terrible game at 10-13, but they are just getting blown out of the water. There's Joe able to find 2 more, and look how far they get pushed out. Look where Epsilon is spawning. I mean, Red Reserve is just controlling every aspect of this game.
And that is what makes this Red Reserve team so dangerous, too, because we know what Joe can do with a sub in hand. If he's going to be making plays with the AR on other maps as well, if he's going to be a maybe much more dominant flex than we expected, wow, this Red team is going to be terrifying.
Now, we have to say it, though, right? Not very high expectations for Epsilon, right? Like, I'd love to see Red Reserve versus, I guess, any other of the teams in the division.
It's a Red warm-up to kick off.
It definitely is. Like, this is a warm-up game for them, but they want to prove a point. Joe, he's earning some streaks himself.
This is a slaughter, Joe.
Yes, it is. Streaks are going to be called in. They're going to try and finish it on this parking lot hill. And, I mean, besides that second hill of the game, Winery, where Epsilon controlled it, they only have 30 points since that moment.
You had an 8 streak from Scraps, 8 in a row now for Joe. Rated popped off with 6 earlier as well. The slang so lopsided. The scoreline reflects that. The final ticks are in red.
That's it. I mean, everybody on Red Reserve played so well. Their teamwork seemed to be on point. Here's a little 3-piece from Rated in the hill, that side. You know, if they do scrim, search and destroy, it's typically off stream, you know. A little challenge, a little wager back and forth just to get the blood flowing, but here we go. You see Scraps, he's gonna work towards this lower A. Epsilon, they're gonna push this side. Nice shots, just gonna back that player on up, but you see what Epsilon's doing. They have Reedy in that middle barrel room, and as you said, Scraps finds that first blood onto Vortex with that nade.
Nice job just tucking it through that window to get the first blood. Rated takes the next gunfight. Looked like one he was going to take, but Hockey, the new main AR on this Epsilon side, able to win it. Zero gets a couple shots in, re-peaks and challenges. That one's going to go his way.
That was just that was an easy gunfight for Zero, right? He was kind of like, oh, Reedy's just kind of running at me. So what Reedy did is he started this round, you know, in barrel room, and he just hit middle of the map, was trying to find an opening, maybe go on a late flank to open something up for Epsilon, but he takes that risk, loses the gunfight. Now it's a 2v3 in favor of Red, and Zero finds Hockey.
Dave will be the last man, and you know, one thing, you know, spoke to Raid a little bit about the new roles kind of for Red Reserve, and he said it came down to him kind of over challenging at times. Like he takes gunfights he shouldn't, and that can pump.
That's something that I definitely want to watch with Red Reserve.
That's one of the things I'm more excited to see. If you talk about just Red, like that single thing is one of the most excited to see, just because it surprised me so much when I first started.
Yep. So you have Red Reserve. They win that first defensive round, so their turn to attack, and it looks like they're leaning towards this B bomb site. Vortex though threw a stun over. Gain some information. He has some help from Dave towards that back site, and then you have Reedy on that middle statue watching across.
Smoke out. Cross no longer able to be watched. It looks like he wants to crawl on in, and he gets the vision there through the corner of the smoke. Nice kill. Frustration for Rated and Red Reserve as the pick comes in.
Yeah, definitely selling. Obviously, it's to talk about maybe Rated running that bomb, right? Maybe it's a guy like Joe who normally does it. Maybe that's even something you have to pay attention to, where it's a very frustrating for a guy like him if he's new in that position, because when you're the bomb planner, you're going to die a good amount, right? Like, that is going to hurt your KD because you're going to get caught out in situations like that.
Let's see what Scraps is now able to do in this 1v3. Tucked away in a corner. He doesn't have a ton of time to make the play. The biggest moment of that particular round.
That first blood, where Reedy was just able to, you know, peek through gate. Obviously, Zero was watching the gate, but just couldn't have that angle to smoke that gate and get it down. Because we've seen a lot of times teams who plant B able to clutch up 3v4s, 2v4s.
If you get it down.
Power positions, right.
Well, last time, it was Scraps from the opposite window that was able to get that first kill. This time, they're not taking the gunfight, but you can see on the minimap, he is still in that same position. So it's going to be, what, Dave and Vortex kind of working together on this side of the map to get it down. This time, Scraps is the one back down. Can his grenade connect? Is it deep? A little bit deep, won't kill Scraps.
It might have hit him as well. You saw Scraps' figure actually flinch a little bit.
Well, it might have just been the shots that were in were all wall bangs, so really tag him up.
Nice shots right there out of Scraps. Beams Vortex off the bomb. And once again, first blood over to that defensive team, and it looks like another round for Red Reserve. What?
So, no, never mind, died in the previous round. I was going to say, if for some reason that took him out of it. But for Epsilon right now,
I mean, they know they've put no pressure on B. They don't even know if someone plays middle, right? Because Reedy just went right down it that one round. So we'll have to see how Epsilon makes some adjustments on their next attack.
Well, last time Red Reserve got picked off of that B bomb site while trying to get the bomb down. This time you can see the bomb is shifted over towards A, but unfortunately, it's Reedy now. So what? Scraps has 2 first bloods. Reedy
has 2.
Wait, didn't? I thought Scraps got the first. Oh, Reedy to get the kill right before he picked him off a bomb. So Reedy actually has one of them. Never mind. But Reedy does have the 2 on his side. So all the first bloods have basically gone to your defense here through the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, but you saw what Reedy just did. Basically what Reedy was trying to do in round number 1, just go through that B gate and find the guy who was playing solo. Now you have a 2 versus 2. Where is the trade on the 0? Finally, it comes in from Reedy. A great job out of him at 3 and 3. Now we have Rated in a 1v2.
Nice shots. That gives him a chance in this. Over 30 seconds to work with. 1 versus 1. If Reedy gets to a safe position, so much more difficult with how spread out they are. But now, Rated at least, believes he's got this side cleared out as he hits him on the cross. Why would, Reedy be heading this direction if they had it covered? Rated now inching his way forward. 15 seconds left to work with. Hockey has wrapped all the way then through to mid-map.
I imagine Hockey probably thinks he went to B. He's going to check B first. No, he's not. So he's going to go straight towards that A site with 5 seconds. And Zero's not even going to go for the bomb. Yeah, Hockey's just going to wait for it. And there you go. You get it planted. Now you're in an advantage, right? You have the bomb down. He has to defuse.
So if it's you get that bomb down.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we'll see if that round bites him. It's now going to be tied up at 2-2. Scraps, who has been dominant on this site, playing a little bit differently this time, getting a little bit more aggressive now towards the window as his teammates got some information for him. Obviously, the pressure for Epsilon mounting towards B, and this might be a change-up because they've just been getting shut down at A over and over again.
Yeah, but look at the rotation already. You have Raiden and Joe starting to rotate towards this B street as soon as those nades come in, and Zero's just staying alive, waiting for help. A lot of pressure on him. Joe actually goes down. Vortex able to find the second.
Wow.
And there we go. Great offensive round for Epsilon.
Well, they rotated.
They did. Rotated. They were all there.
They all got dropped. So now it'll just be Scraps.
He's going for a swim.
Yeah, he's been doing great on this side.
I'm not sure where Joe got picked off by Vortex, but Zero won that round, so have to watch those first bloods.
That was the first one on offense, I believe, for any of these teams. So that'll be what puts Epsilon now out in front. Stun out for Vortex. He's going to get some information there as the pressure building from Red Reserve. Rated, able to get that first pick, but will be traded out by Reedy almost immediately. And now we'll just kind of take a look at that mini-map and see the spread you have on the defensive side for Epsilon.
Yeah, the key player for Red Reserve is that number 8, Scraps. He's pushed up towards that lights building. Right, just getting pushed up towards the defensive side. Looks like he's trying to make a play. But you have Vortex in that deep pocket. Yeah, he throws that stun out. That might hit him, right? So there's that information that he needs. Look at that. As soon as that happens, they smoke out gate, and the bomb carrier immediately pushes up. But once again, Reedy is snuck up towards that gate area. He may get a kill. Oh, no. Not able to get it.
Oh, that looked like such a frustrating spot for Reedy. He's like, I try to take out the guy not on bomb. Then he tries to snap across, and that's a difficult gunfight, obviously, when you're tucked behind it. But things fall apart for Epsilon. It's now all going to be on Hockey. Joe.
But I would have loved to seen this guy, Hockey. He was back B Street. If he just takes some shots at, I believe it was Scraps who's on. I think so. I mean, it was a good opportunity out of Reedy, just not able to execute.
Zero, I was about to say, looking to cover Joe. He gives him a couple bullets as he crosses there, but not going to hurt him. Rated with another first blood. That's going to be his third, and this time, no trade immediately from the Epsilon side. So up 4 versus 3 in man count, and Scraps once again able to get to an aggressive spot here on the window. And that's going to allow Rated to kind of wrap back and maybe help mid, help towards B, because once Scraps gets to this position, he's got a lot he can do.
Yeah, definitely so. And you even look at the B site, right? Like, Joe is all the way on the back if you look at the mini-map. He knows they're headed towards A, just making sure there's no late flanks on that B street. You have Zero watching top middle. There we go, able to find Reedy. Great timing out of him. Now it's a 4v2. Scraps winning that one-on-one. Should be able to clean it.
Really back and forth, obviously. This game's been very, very close, but knowing this is one of the first times you've seen Red play Search and Destroy, is there anything in particular You're trying to figure out search. Is there one that's inherently harder, like offense or defense, or it doesn't really matter too much?
I mean, I feel like it doesn't matter too much. I think throughout sort of testing it, you'll realize where your weakness is, right? Whether it is that offense or defense. One side of that may just be easier to that roster.
I was just curious. Like, I never really thought about that. There's like one that's kind of a little bit more tricky to figure out with a new squad. Oh, I love picking your brain, Joe.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful brain.
Thanks.
We'll see what Rated can do here. Is very sneaky. He's just right behind Vortex. Still can see his foot. Now he removes it. One more mid-map. Reads him like a book, but Hockey able to win the gunfight there. Rated drops, and now it's a 2v3. That bomb is still planted. One just hopped across to it, but Zero's got the vision here from underground.
He's at the peak of the end.
Here comes. Oh, he actually sat from the side. He doesn't have an angle. He's got to fly out, but Joe's able to make the play. Joe cuts down the
situation where they have a 3v4. They get the bomb down. It was a great play out of Rated to sneak in that corner, but they're still able to execute in a 2v3 with the man down.
And that might be the crucial round, right? That gets them to number 5. Only one more round needed, and they're already up 4-2 in this one. What was such a close game throughout the course of most of it, Red is just taken over down the stretch. Let's see. They can take it here. Hockey eliminated. Now, Epsilon's hopes and dreams for game 2 all going to fall on Reedy, and once you look at the final round count.
I mean, it was 3-3, and then right from there, Red win 3 in a row. And I think the big thing for just won the final 3 rounds. Then we're on game 3. Flak Tower CTF gonna hop on board. It looks like Scraps, who's already got a kill.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, what we were kind of excited for, to kind of see these new roles from Red. At least with this map set, it doesn't look like we're likely going to see that. Because I'm assuming Joe is still going to have a PPSH in his hands throughout the course of this. But something to keep in mind throughout the week, just to see how he does in that flex role.
Definitely so. There you go. So yeah, he does have a PPSH.
On this map, not shocked.
No, definitely not so. And if you're a team like Epsilon, like, you know, you're happy you made it back to stage 2. You're obviously Seattle performance, what, top 24, I think Chan said they won like 1 map. But through relegation, they got here, right? And then your first game back, you're trying to gain some momentum, and Red's just not allowing that to happen.
Well, it's interesting, too, because you got to think, if you started really poor Friday, which a lot of teams did, even like Rise Nation started kind of poor on Friday.
Seattle was weird.
I feel like people didn't really figure out how to play the new meta very well until, honestly, like halfway through Saturday. So if you're one of those teams that like came out and got smoked right away, well, tough. They were in trouble.
And you got to think, too, for Epsilon, who's like just trying to get better for maybe towards the end of the year. Wow. Nice player like there for Hockey with that pre-fire, able to find 2, but you're just trying to get better, and these teams just aren't allowing that. It just feels like there's no improvement whatsoever from them.
Yeah. And, you know, we kept thinking maybe this is the time of the year where it starts to click, but...
What'd Dave say, April?
Yeah, but Scraps did mention on Hot Mic, they basically said, like, if it wasn't for relegation, the fact they got locked in with his roster, like, there would have been a change, 100%. He said there would have been a change, like, he thinks there's similar to maybe, like, a Splice type scenario where there's some chemistry issues, maybe some people not wanting to play with somebody else.
I was surprised they got through relegation.
Yeah, I don't know. That's fair. That is fair. I don't think you'd be the only one.
No.
But they're here. They've earned their spot. Now the question for most of us is can they play spoiler? Are they going to get some upsets on teams that maybe you don't expect them to get the victory? Obviously, not the best start here through versus Red, but they're still in this game 3 as no one's been able to get anything on the board yet.
Yeah, and you can see right now a very, very slow Flak Tower, right? We're about 2 minutes in, and it seems like both teams are at a standstill, but there's Joe. He's able to win that gunfight. See, maybe he just goes for a flagpole. He knows there's still 3 alive. There's Vortex in the back corner. He shuts him down, but now Scraps is there. Right, there's that aggression out of him, but big wins out of Vortex. Now the pressure on the Red reserve base.
Here comes the touch.
Oh, that spawn's so unfortunate. I think he was trying to cancel it. That's why he ran that way at that angle, but Joe just spawns up, able to get that, you know, get that kill.
That's what's tough about this map. It is very, very tough to get them out of those deep spawns at times. It looked like he was really close to that position, but maybe just needed a couple more feet or an extra second, and he would have been able to make the play. But Red Reserve in control of this series. They're up 2-0. We're loving what we're seeing from the new roster. And I'm going to toss it to an Astro Gaming listening.
Would have been probably there in there, probably.
Right, tagged one there, but on mid as well. Tagged. I hit him with a bullet on the right. One was outside there, mid as well.
I'm gonna go right.
Mid. He could have mid. Dead. Go on, we're looking for one. Dave's off spawn. We're looking for spawn on right. Steve-O's gonna be sneaking.
Breach, get that kill off him. Breach, get that kill off him.
Back, Matt. That's him, bro. Some top one.
Back of the base.
Don't check in the back. He's out top gun, mate. He's out top gun. I need top gun, Matt.
You see me go top gun as well.
You could run off.
Top gun. He's weak, I think twice.
I'm holding out right. Still top. Good push out mid now. Mate, dead out top gun.
One outside the mid, but
You get a kill. Pull Jens.
Looking for Billy, Reedy and Dave.
Underground. Jens tagged.
I'll bring you back.
He's underground. He's wrapped back. Just outside their mid. Dave's just outside their mid. Underground dead.
Nice.
Dave's in their mid.
On the right. Right dead.
Dave's in their mid. And then Steve's on front.
The two mid, both there.
Did you go?
Weak vortex. Gun, Jen,
Overall thoughts on the comms you heard from Red Reserve?
I thought it was solid. I think the big play was you kept hearing him. You know, Steve-O's our top gun. We have to find Steve-O. He's the last guy. Steve-O, that's Vortex. They were just trying to find him, and you saw two players in their base trying to find him, right? Just making sure, counting players. Hey, this guy just spawned. We need to find Vortex. We know he's sneaky, right? That's exactly what you want to hear in a map like this because, I mean, a couple of players go down, one guy sneaks. That's a fly cap, right? We've seen it time and time again. If you let one player slip on by, he can make a huge play. For Red Reserve now, they're starting to attack Hockey. The last guy left, able to find scraps. And no scores on the board for either team.
Sometimes CTF is not about who makes the bigger or better play. It's who doesn't make the mistake.
Mistakes, yeah.
And they were doing a good job trying to make sure that didn't happen. One thing to kind of talk about as we get about to head into the halfway point, you did point this out, and he still has it. We do see airborne instincts on zero right now. We hadn't seen maybe a lot of that, well, any of that really at Seattle. Not too much in scrims.
We're a big fan of Gung Ho on airborne, and well, Sledgehammer, they heard that. Shout outs to them. You know, listen to the feedback. They removed Gung Ho, you know, from that.
Seen pull that out yet, but curious to see if maybe we'll see it more and more. You think there's any main reason he is doing it when we haven't seen it a lot?
I mean, obviously, when you talk about speed, we've said it time and time again for years. The faster you are, the more pressure you can put on the map, the more opportunities you can give yourself, right? So that's the way he's going. We talked to some players. We may see it more. You think about the game types that really 1 or 2 seconds makes all the difference. The big one to me is search and destroy, right? Those routes that you can get to a position, win a certain gunfight. So I imagine we'll see a little bit more airborne, especially guys like Pharaoh or Kenny, guys who are search and destroy stars who really know how to open things up on the map.
Well, here we go. Flag is going to be out. Day's going to have it in hand. He's a one-on-one gunfight he may have to take. It's actually going to be cutting back through mid. He's going to get picked off, but Flag is out on the opposite side as well. Both players going to drop, though, for Red Reserve. This looks like it more than likely will be a cap. There's the dive. There's the score. Epsilon suddenly alive and well in this series.
Oh, definitely are. And Vortex, he's not slowing down. He's able to spot Joe. He's trying to get a nice kill right here. He's just pre-firing this corner. Joe's just messing with him. Nice job right there at Joe as he beams him off that position. But now you have Dave starting to move up a little bit. And Dave, he's been quiet throughout this series, but he's starting to step up at 12-7 on a 4 spree.
Can he get more streaks here is the question. Not the most ample of gunfights to take there with Ray to kind of have a little bit of cover there to work with the angle of that slope.
I mean, you have an STG in that position. We know how strong that elbow with those sandbags can be, right? You know your one-off streaks. Yes, you're trying to get another flag, but hey, come on. I mean, I'll take 3 streaks. Maybe he should have slowed down there. He had no help.
The pressure, though, continues to fly in from Red Reserve. This is the first, or sorry, from Epsilon. This is the first time we've really seen Red look vulnerable at any point throughout the course of this series. They still have 3 minutes to work with. Not out of it at all. There's only really 1 streak on the side of Epsilon, but obviously the dominant form we've seen from Red hasn't really showed here on this particular map. Any thoughts to why that might be?
I mean, I think if you look at the slaying, you have Joe at 7-14. He's slowed down a little bit. Raiden and Scraps as well. Really, just the slaying of Epsilon is stepped up. You can tell every single time that Red Reserve sort of starts to get pushed up, they leave one behind. They have to worry about them. They can't leave their base, as we were just talking about. You know, you heard during that listening. They're always trying to be aware of someone in their base, but maybe they're being a little bit too protective.
I think what's interesting to point out, too, is, you know, Dave was the main AR, Hockey was the main sub. They swapped those roles completely, and now Dave and Hockey both having great games. 13-9 from Dave with a streak. Hockey 16-11 right now, so both guys in those new roles going off.
Oh, definitely so. And I mean, again, you look at the side of Red Reserve, that's always been sort of the issue at times at Red is Joe in that slaying category, right? He can have games like this. But the thing is they're never out of it. It just seems like he can make one play, tie this game up, and it's like it never happened.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the reason he gets Scraps in the team.
Yeah.
It helps carry those games. Like, you can maybe have a little bit of a dud KD-wise come out of Joe, and it might not matter as much. But right now, certainly could be a factor. Is Red Reserve just trying to get out of their base and apply any kind of forward momentum, but talking about aggressive positioning, yeah, it's been all Epsilon, and Dave's doing a hell of a job right now.
Just feels like Red's just been stuck, and he's going to find that last player. That's Riddy. That's a big 2 kills. What did I just say out of Joe, right? He makes one play, makes a play like this, and now this gives Red Reserve an opportunity to counter cap. That's a big kill out of Vortex. But you can see Rated, he's going right for a pull, trying to make a stalemate situation, but that is the glide bomb being called in. Can he find anything? It doesn't look like it.
Rated did get dropped, though, pretty much immediately as soon as that was called in. Scrap's still in position. Joe picks up a kill, and now you've got an opportunity. There's 2 players in hitting out front. Scrap's trying to look for it. Dave, though, once again, Dave gets all 3. Dave has been a beast. There's the second score, and that's more than likely the hopes of the sweep here for Red Reserve going down the drain.
Hey, we'll get to see Joe run a second AR in Arden Forest. Unless something crazy happens, there's still a minute left. We have seen crazier things. Still a lot of time for Red Reserve, but just, again, the slaying. Hockey 20 and 14 having a great game, and as you said, Dave stepped up, right? Those 2 players who can be superstars at times. We have seen it. It's just not consistent.
Oh, I mean, we've said it about this Epsilon team all year, that it's never really been a lack of skill. And but we say that because we have seen this team get top 3s at big tournaments at Anaheim.
A year ago.
Yes, like, we know they are capable of it. It's just, when the hell is it going to happen? It's more been the question.
Yeah, maybe the last chance right there for Red Reserve to try and get a flag. Gets shut down. Reedy, Dave, and Vortex able to find a kill. Just 20 seconds left. Looks like Epsilon's going to win game number 3.
I think that's big. You know, I talked to the Epsilon guys a little bit upstairs before this, and you know, I was joking with them a little bit, just saying, like, you know, how I view it. It's kind of 7 teams in them right now to fight for top 4, and I did ask them, like, what do you guys need to do if you're going to get top 4? And one of the big things that Vortex said to me is, we need to come out.
Even map
a smaller scale of that, though, is like getting a map win off a team like Red. Like, not coming in and getting, like, imagine if they come in and this map here was like a 6-0, and you just got 3-0 smoked in 45 minutes.